Let me be clear. When I say vitamin, I am referring to the synthetic chemicals created in a lab. I am not referring to nutrients found in produce, fish, nuts, mushrooms, or other natural foods. The entire synthetic vitamin industry is a scam created by Big Pharma to sell us more products. Before you claim I'm some kind of shill who is trying to get you not to take your essential vitamins, just please listen to all of this. Even so-called organic vitamins are chemicals. Many are commonly made from industrial waste, including coal tar ash, petroleum oil, black mold, and even cyanide. Before we discuss the truth about toxic vitamins, I have to explain how we got here. So here's a super fast, wild history lesson that you will never forget. After vitamins, along with essential minerals, were discovered in the 1920s, vitamin manufacturers, chemical manufacturers, and marketers began pressing hard to sell their exciting new products. But, just like with vaccines, convincing people they needed to take them was no easy task. People flat out said, "I've never taken them before, so why do I need to waste money on them now?" So, how can you sell a ton of product when people don't want to buy it? Aha! You go around the people by lobbying. In 1924, 3 organizations, including the American Public Health Association, suddenly pushed for iodine to be added to table salt, based on, quote, new science. The new science somehow demonstrated that adding lab-made, factory-produced iodine to table salt was going to protect people from radioactive fallout. And also, it was great for their thyroid. Landing the salt deal was an absolute goldmine for chemical iodine manufacturers. After iodine was given the green light, the new science came pouring in. In 1933, the fortification of milk with chemical vitamin D occurred. During the same time, new vitamin deficiency diseases were suddenly identified and categorized based on the newly discovered vitamins. It was a circle jerk of new vitamin discoveries, new science, new deficiencies, and new chemical substitutes needed to keep us healthy. Then, more new science. In 1940, the Committee on Food and Nutrition, now called the Food and Nutrition Board, recommended the addition of thiamine, niacin, riboflavin, and iron to flour. They claimed that there is no way to ensure that everyone will be getting enough nutrients. So, adding the chemical version of the food was the best way to improve overall health. The voluntary cooperation of the bakery-associated industries quickly led to 75% of white bread in the U.S. being chemically treated by the middle of 1942. As time progressed, more and more new science determined that damn near everything processed needed more and more vitamins and minerals, and next thing you know, cornmeals, rice, noodles, macaroni, other grain products, it all needs to be enriched and fortified because, the more chemical vitamins, the better. Then, in the 1960s, the fortifications and enrichments had become so out of control that the FDA proposed to limit fortifications to only nutrients that were claimed to be essential for human health as well as being appropriate for supplementation. But the court upheld that the FDA had no legal authority to prohibit food fortification, which opened the doors for the chemical manufacturers to fortify the shit out of everything and anything using chemicals. Shortly thereafter, health problems boomed. So did the chemical manufacturers and marketers' businesses. During the same time, it was realized that literal waste can be dumped into food as well as the water supply. A byproduct is leftover waste that is a result from manufacturing something. In industrial settings, the byproduct waste is usually some kind of chemical that requires special disposal, which is very often expensive. To avoid paying for disposal, companies have swindled the government agencies to give them the green light to mix their toxic waste into everything from water to food to body care and more. Here's a short list of known byproducts. Fluoride is a toxic byproduct from the phosphate mining industry. It's harvested from smokestacks and dumped into the water supply to strengthen your teeth. Artificial sweetener is a furnace byproduct from the zinc smelting industry. Sulfate of soda, also known as sodium sulfate, is the byproduct of electrolytic nickel and cobalt. It is used as the largest filler agent in powdered laundry detergent. Sulfuric acid is generated by burning sulfur in petroleum refineries, as well as metal smelting. Sulfuric acid is commonly used in the production of food. Coal fly ash is a byproduct from the energy industry, and it is discarded in cement mix, as well as sprayed in the sky to block the sun. Manganese sulfate is an industrial byproduct that began being used in foods, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, and more. It is also FDA approved as a salt substitute. Yellow prussate of soda is actual cyanide, typically made from used coal gas purifier iron oxide. It is repurposed as salt substitutes, table salt, sea salt, water conditioners, animal feed, de-icing products, and more. Phosphogypsum is a byproduct from fertilizer. It is often repurposed as cement, roofing materials, oyster beds, and even artificial reef. One use of uranium, a phosphate mining byproduct, is NASA's sky spraying experiments.
NASA is very proudly using depleted uranium in chemtrails.
Bauxite refineries produce alumina, also known as aluminum oxide. What people don't realize is the waste is also dumped into cosmetics and body care. It is often called alumina on the label. On EWG.org, in the section titled Sources of Water Pollution, they clearly state that there are currently over 600 disinfection byproducts in treated drinking water, some of the most common of which have been linked to DNA damage. I hope we can now agree that the majority of these companies selling us food, drinks, condiments, vaccines, medicines, vitamins, they don't care about our health, so it shouldn't be too much of a shocker to discover the true history of the vitamin industry. But first, one more mega important history lesson. In 2001, NASA created a presentation titled Futuristic Strategic Issues, Future Warfare, circa 2025, which was part of their Futures program, which is a collaboration between NASA and damn near all of the 3- and 4-letter agencies that operate off of our tax dollars. This entire presentation is absolutely terrifying. It starts out by accusing the American people of plundering the ship's assets. Psst, useless eaters. The slideshow then goes on to explain, essentially, people must die. It then outlines the best ways to make this happen. Multiple slides mention vitamins, specifically secretly using them as biological weapons. No, I'm not making this up, but I wish I was. The vitamin D scam. Real vitamin D comes from the sun. Pharma has not found a way to bottle sunshine. Here's a former pharma rep explaining the vitamin D swindle we have all suffered.
Vitamins are made by up to about half a dozen pharmaceutical companies around the world. So there's about 6 companies that make this stuff in a lab synthetically. And then they have like these big 44-gallon drums of vitamin C or vitamin D. And then a vitamin company goes to them and says, hey, can we buy some vitamin C from you? They're like, sure. How many 44-gallon drums do you want? Like, oh, we'll take 6. So they send out 6 44-gallon drums to the vitamin company, and then the vitamin company puts their label on the outside of the bottle, right, and sells it as a natural supplement. Yet these things are all being made by pharmaceutical companies. On one hand, like making the drugs, and yet on the other hand, they're also making the vitamin, but people are under this assumption that, oh, the vitamins are good for me. I better stay away from those sucky pharmaceutical drugs. It's coming from the same people are giving you both of the things.
Yeah, I call it big pharma light, really, the supplement industry. It really is big pharma light.
Yeah, man, the whole vitamin D thing is an absolute sham.
But let's go back even further. Vitamin D in general was discovered not that long ago, and shortly thereafter, in 1928, it was realized there is a huge market in selling vitamins. This is when shoddy trials, rigged data, and behind-the-scenes payoffs began. The Evil Alliance was able to change medical standards by rewriting the appropriate levels of vitamin D. The new appropriate levels were so high that as soon as they were published, 60 to 80% of all Americans instantly became vitamin D deficient. Meanwhile, the real doctors over at the National Academy of Health realized the report was fraud, and they began telling other doctors there is no vitamin D deficiency epidemic, and that all the extra testing and supplementation isn't based on real science and it's not warranted. But as usual, real doctors were completely ignored, and instead, the talking heads, such as Oprah, were pushed. In the 2000s, big pharma companies such as Pfizer began buying up all the vitamin manufacturers. As soon as they purchased these companies, the need for vitamin D supplements for health was drilled into our brains. Despite over 80 years of chemical vitamin D fortification, in addition to vitamin D being the most popularly purchased supplement, 92% of the U.S. population is deficient in vitamins. And guess what the solution is? The solution is to drink more milk and buy more vitamin D. pills, chemicals, gotta fortify those bones. Well, before you do that, I want you to listen to this very carefully. This was recommended to me by my own doctor. Ran a vitamin D test on me, told me I was low, told me to get this. So I saw a video the other day saying that this is poisonous. So I decided that seems absurd. I wanted to take a look for myself. So we are going to look up this chemical name. You go to Google and you type in that chemical name, you will find out, oh, it's D3, it's great, it's a sun substitute. But then if you type specifically in the chemical name and MSDS, which means Manufacturer's Safety Data Sheet, Fisher Scientific is one of the biggest chemical makers. So we're going to take a look at it here. You'll see product name, vitamin D3. And then it says recommended use, laboratory chemical. Uses advised against food, drug, pesticide, or biocidal use. If we scroll down here, hazard identification, acute oral toxicity, category 2. Dermal toxicity, inhalation toxicity, target organ toxicity with repeated exposure, category 1. The organs it targets are kidneys and bones. Fatal if swallowed, in contact with skin, or inhaled. Causes damage to organs through prolonged or repeated exposure. This says take daily, by the way. Here are the manufacturer's safety data sheet. Warnings: do not eat, drink, or smoke when using these products. Wash hands, wash face. Only use in a well-ventilated area. If swallowed, contact poison control. Here's the chemical components of it. Yeah, so this is legitimately poison, you guys. This is actual poison being sold to us as a sun substitute vitamin. So not only does the MSDS state it is indeed toxic, especially if consumed on a repeated basis, but it is also literally used as poison. I often hear people say things like, well, too much of anything can kill you, just don't take too much. Even too much water can kill you. Vitamin D toxicity levels, according to the Mayo Clinic, toxic level 60,000. Right now, you can buy 50,000 at any drugstore or even Amazon. Harvard puts the maximum dose at only 4,000. So the idea that oh my gosh, just don't take too much, that's completely ridiculous. Additionally, these toxic levels do not account for age, weight, pre-existing conditions, let alone the interaction of the chemicals in synthetic vitamin D along with the chemicals that we are supplementing that aren't vitamin D. I mean, what's the interaction if you're taking vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin A? What are all those doing when combined? We don't know because it's never been tested. Did you know that even margarine is fortified with synthetic vitamins A and D? If not, then how is it possible to avoid the toxic levels? The vitamin C scam. Real vitamin C comes from citrus and greens. Synthetic vitamin C is an even crazier story than vitamin D.
Vitamin C is in everything. Does it do any good? That is the question. Where did we get this vitamin C craziness? Can be traced back to one man, and that is actually a very brilliant scientist. His name is Linus Pauling. 1931. He was born in 1901, so this was when he was only 30 years old. He sent a paper to Journal of American Chemical Society. The editor of the journal did not find any suitable person to review it. He said, I can't find any expert who can really decipher what is going on in this paper. And even Albert Einstein shrugged his shoulders and said, it's too complicated for me. Now he got a letter from Dr. Irwin Stone. I'm writing doctor in quotes because this was an honorary PhD degree from kind of a dubious university, though not really a doctor. And Dr. Irwin Stone, wrote a letter to Linus Pauling and said, oh, if you take 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day, you will live for 25 years and more. He started taking it and soon became a huge believer. He published many books about how vitamin C is good for common cold, the flu. Now he was saying it is good for Spanish flu also. Okay. And later on, cancer and vitamin C. So many physicians and doctors kept getting requests by their patients to prescribe them more and more vitamin C.
So to summarize, we are all obsessed with chemical vitamin C because a non-doctor with an honorary degree told an award winner that consuming vitamin C would add 25 years to his life. And then it was written, and then it was repeated, and then it became fact. Did you know that nearly all synthetic vitamin C is imported from China? And did you know that in order to label a vitamin natural, it only needs to contain 10% natural ingredients? Do you know why Emergent C is so popular? Because it's owned by Pfizer. The vitamin B scam. Vitamin B is naturally present in a vast array of unprocessed foods such as meat, other proteins, dairy, cereals, fruits, vegetables. Synthetic vitamin B12 is literally made from poison.
Common form of B12 in the world is entirely synthetic. We make it from hydrogen cyanide. It's called cyanocobalamin. It's a cyanide-based B12. I mean, it's hard to believe that we're allowed to make vitamins out of hydrogen cyanide in this country, but we are. Flintstone vitamins have cyanocobalamin.
So do Airborne.
So do Celsius energy drinks. Emergent C has cyanocobalamin, cyanide-based B12. So when you put this form of B12 into the body, it drops off the cobalt metal, the cobalamin, right, which is B12 is a metal, a light metal. It drops off the metal into the cell, and then you're left with a floating cyanide molecule. Now, the body doesn't recognize that. So in order for cyanide to leave the system, it binds to oxygen and other light metals and takes them out of the system. It's a thief.
To keep this video short, let me close with this. Unfortunately, all of these trusted internet doctors seem to parrot the exact same talking points. Vitamins are the key to a long life, which we all agree. But what they're failing to mention to you is chemicals are never the key to a long life. I have yet to find a good, healthy chemical, period. But doctors can't make money selling you broccoli on the internet, so instead they sell you synthetics.
The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one. The little one stops to suck his thumb, and they all go marching down
It's a cyanide-based B12.
to get out of the rain. Boom, boom, boom. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah.
This is actual
The
poison.
ants go marching two by two. The little one stops to tie his shoe, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, boom, boom. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three.